Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you may be. This is Sandeep Unnithan of Chakra News in conversation with my friend Lieutenant General PR Shankar of Gunners Shot. Our interesting collaboration continues, and this week we are going to be talking about a big development that's going to unfold in New Delhi in the next couple of days. President Vladimir Putin is visiting New Delhi. It's his 23rd it's the 23rd India-Russia annual summit. And of course, it's the 25th anniversary of the India-Russia strategic partnership. And to talk about that and more, I have, of course, General PR Shankar with me. General Shankar, good morning. Welcome.
Oh, thanks a lot, Sandeep. Good morning to you and all our viewers of Chakra News and Gunner Shot. We're going to talk of something very interesting. President Putin's upcoming visit. It's been announced. The dates are out, 4th, 5th December.
Right.
The way things are going, a lot of things are at stake. And I think that's the interesting part. What I'd like us to do is we could discuss it. I mean, this is my view. We could discuss it at two levels. The first level is the importance of this visit in the global dynamics
Right.
for India and Russia and everything, and what will be the effect on the same. And the second is the India-Russia uh, partnership itself, the bilateral,
Right.
right? I think though both are not inseparable, but if you put it a little separately, we'll get the better understanding of this upcoming visit because I think we have to
Absolutely.
cater.
Let's do that, sir. Because, I think
Yeah.
in the 25 years that India and Russia have been partners, I don't think we've had a moment like this in 2025 where Russia is of course fighting its the longest war in the 21st century, war of attrition, and it's under tremendous global pressure, sanctions. It's discussing a peace deal with the United States in Ukraine. That's a very big pressure, and for the first time, General Shankar, we are being forced to choose between the West and Russia, that you can't buy your oil. Of course, we're buying even high-tech equipment like the S-400 under a lot of pressures and under exceptions that are being made for us, on a case-by-case basis almost. Let's start by talking about the position that Russia is in currently. Somebody in the NEA was telling me that the only imponderable in the visit now is that if there is a peace deal, for instance, Putin will have to go and initiate it in the next couple of days, though it doesn't seem to be happening right now. Chances of that
Look,
have.
yeah, the way I look at it, the position in which Russia is, uh, I think Russia has got its bases covered.
Right.
I mean, let's look at the Russia-Ukraine war is at a stage where Russia can't lose.
Yep.
Okay, it only stands to gain.
Right.
You see, the point is the Russia-Ukraine war is something which no one is going to win. Let's be clear about it. There are no winners in that war. Everyone is a loser.
Right.
But Russia loses the least, right? If and when this war ends, or goes to a closure or tapers down, what you will see is the Russian position actually increasing, better off,
Right.
because its position vis-a-vis USA would have eased out lot because that's USA's ploy, isn't it? To split China and Russia,
Yes.
right? And some strain would have come automatically between Russia and China as a consequence of that, which is good for the India-Russia equation, right? And I think the closure of the Russia war is good. But if the war continues, the Ukraine war continues for Russia, well, we are here already. We are in that position. Things can't change. Right? And the cards are clear, and we deal from what we are. So, whichever way I look at it, Russia's position is pretty well covered. We have to understand one fundamental about Russia, which many people miss. It's not a big economy. Okay, it's just about $2 trillion economy. But it is the only economy which is self-sufficient in everything.
Right.
Russia
They have
doesn't
everything.
depend on.
Absolutely.
They have resources, they have technology, they have for their thing, and they have landmass. The only problem they have is population, but they seem to have covered that well historically. And that's a that's a landmass which you can't easily, get into. So Russia is a difficult customer for anyone to deal with offensively, and that history has proven. Napoleon will and Hitler both will vouch for their thing. So I think Russia is in a pretty good position. And plus, once the Arctic routes open,
Right.
you'll find the Russian value to many things will go up.
I want to
And
talk to you
Russian,
about the Arctic route in particular, sir, a little while later, maybe in the discussion,
yeah,
when we look at what's on the table between India and Russia. But
yeah. So,
also feeling that the fact that Russia is in a strong position, and let's not forget they have actually sustained losses, horrible losses in men, material. Their economy has lost a lot as well. The isolation, the global isolation. But then, like you mentioned, it is. They make everything themselves. They don't really need the world in a way that China is also trying to walk down that path, that counter globalization path where you're fully self-sufficient. You do everything, you make everything. And I saw that statement that came out of a Russian aircraft manufacturer where one of their top officials, I think Chemezov, was in one of those places. And he said, we are the only country that makes fighter jets end to end. We don't rely on anyone for anything. That's a very big thing. And when we are looking at our light combat aircraft program, we're suffering because of imported engines. The things that we need to learn from the Russians. But now that you've put it so that Russia is in a bit of a strong position, how critical is it for us? Now I'm looking at it from the Indian perspective. How critical is it for us that you have a peace deal in Ukraine at the earliest? Because let's not forget that we are also suffering because of the war in Ukraine. We can't trade with the Russians. The rupee ruble trade has been completely, set aside. That trade is the rupee ruble hasn't taken off, I should say, to supplant these embargoes, sanctions. How critical is it for us for the peace deal to actually unfold?
if the Ukraine war finishes or tapers off, I think India will be in a very good position for many reasons. If once that war tapers off, first and foremost, these energy issues will go off.
Right.
Trump sanctions and all that will go off, and our equation with USA will improve. Then you have free trade with Russia, and like I said, Russia will have to start, opening up towards USA. That's a mutual thing, which means that the Russia-China axis will start reducing.
Right.
And Russia has to look at a post-war economy. And in the post-war economy, they'll need India. I have no doubts about it.
Diversify
Right?
away from China.
Diversify. And our own growth story will get a fillip. And also remember, you have a lot of stake in Ukraine.
Right.
See, at a point of time, we were dependent on Ukraine for our ship engines and a whole lot of things.
Engines,
Technology, yeah. And notwithstanding whatever is happening in Ukraine or whatever Ukraine is all about, Ukraine still has technological capability which we can, we can use this very well. So I think the Russia-Ukraine war winding down will be of great benefit to us. Right? But then, how do you want to take it forward from here?
Yeah, so that's very clear. So that the fact that Russia-Ukraine war winding down is very critical for India and Russia because we are under a lot of pressure there. But that said, what do you expect, sir? Look into the crystal ball and tell us, Prime Minister Modi, Vladimir Putin, 4th of December, he arrives here in New Delhi. And, there is a warmth in that relationship that is very different from all other relationships, whether it is, with the United States. I think there is a certain element of personal chemistry between the two leaders in a way that we don't with any other country, any other leadership. What do you expect? Are there going to be any surprises? We know the usual stuff, and we'll come to that a while later. Arctic cooperation, the S-400. I know a lot of our viewers want to know more about the S-400 and the S-500 and the Su-57. But do you expect anything beyond all of this? Like in the 25th year of India-Russia, the relationship, you see this being taken to the next level somehow in terms of agreements, security agreements?
Look, this visit is important for Russia on many counts. I mean, don't look at it from just the agreements between Su-57 or those things.
Of course, yes.
S-400 and all that. Look, for Russia, it's a great political achievement. Remember, Mr. Putin is still under sanction for getting a risk warrant is out and all that. While he could go to China, he could go to USA. The third country he's coming to is India. So politically, coming to India gives him that kind of a huge fillip, okay, which is important for Russia. And you have supported Russia in UN. Remember this. It's a huge payback for the time when USSR supported India going back to 71 and from there. So there's a huge pro quid quo in this whole story. So in some manner, we are on equal footing, right? And you bailed Russia out during the Ukraine war by energy. Of course, you benefited, but if you didn't, then Russia would have been in a pickle.
Right.
So I think overall, this relationship has reached a plateau, but it's an important plateau.
Right.
And it's important that we remain at that plateau, right? This relationship is important to balance geopolitics also.
Right.
It's important for Russia. I'm looking at it from the Russian viewpoint. It's important for Russia because it enables Russia to build a hedge against. Look at this. This is the thing. This cartoon is by a Chinese and it came out 2 years back and I've not let it go at all. The 4 big powers of the world as per the Chinese, and this came long back. I keep showing it, right? Are these 4?
I can't make out. I can see Prime Minister Modi, Trump,
Putin.
Xi Jinping is very, that's Putin, is it? It doesn't look like.
It doesn't look like, but that's that cartoonist has put it. Yeah. This is Putin, Xi Jinping, Trump, and this thing. In fact, the original cartoon had Biden. This is of the Biden era, right?
Right.
But then what I did? I converted this into a matrix, a power matrix.
A quad of sorts, yes.
A quad of sorts, right? So this power chord, if you see the 4 big powers of the world at each corner, Russia and China have a lot of attraction along the diagonal. India and USA had attraction, but that's frayed. But I think that's at 50-50 today.
Right.
Well, the rest of the things you can make out from the arrows itself, with the equation between Russia and.
You've put in these 4 countries, and you're clearly not going by GDP alone. You're looking at other comprehensive military.
Yeah, you're looking at you're looking at a comprehensive thing, and that comprehensive power has come out in the power index, which is now in social media. The 5 big countries in the 5 most powerful countries in the world. As per that, the 5th is Japan, of course.
Right.
In this, right. And you have to understand, if you put Japan somewhere here, the matrix will change a bit. But understand, Japan is at odds with Russia and China, and it's playing out today.
Right.
Okay? Right. They have historical problems between Russia, China, and Japan. And between India, Japan, and USA, there's a historical alliance.
Yes.
So if you add that in, well, you have a geopolitical role to play. And this is something which people need to understand. And we also have to understand it in the context that Despite everything, for the second quarter, India's GDP has gone at 8.2%.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, very encouraging numbers.
Yeah, it's more than encouraging this quarter because you went through sanctions, trade got hit with USA, uh, nothing took off with China, a lot of issues. Despite this, despite all the roadblocks which you faced, you've grown at 8.2%. You can't be ignored anymore. You can't be stopped,
Right. Right.
right? And today, in these four countries, which is the country you trust most?
No, India, without a doubt, it's Russia.
Russia, right? You don't trust China anymore. I mean, you never trusted China. You never trusted USA also historically, right? You felt that you could get into a great strategic partnership. That's been destroyed completely. The way I look at it, the strategic partnership has been destroyed, which I keep saying. So, in terms of trust, you need Russia. You have trust in Russia. So, politically and from a trust point of view, and India-Russia equation is very important. And a lot of people look at India-US-Russia equation from their perspective. I mean, we can take this off. Right? Yeah, you look at it from a third country perspective. When they deal, a third country deals with these four countries plus Japan. What is the effect? They'll say, look, I'd rather prefer to deal with Russia, India, or Japan rather than USA and China. That's the global perception today.
Right.
Right. So I think in that, if India and Russia are aligned, the global projection is very good, and we can feed off each other's strengths. Right. For example, uh, Myanmar. Myanmar, interestingly, has very good relations with Russia.
Yes.
It has right. It has good relations with us, and it has got into a good relation. I won't say good relations. It's got into a relationship with China, uncomfortable with it. So,
Right.
is there a case for India and Russia to talk about Myanmar? There are a lot of things in this whole story which are coming out. It's not just a matter of. So globally, there are places, the Middle East. A lot of people in the Middle East and Africa are more comfortable with India and Russia. Is there a way to leverage it? So I think in this visit, if you look beyond the normal, I think the global play of India plus Russia needs to be discussed.
Right. Right.
For that matter, what you can do in Africa, what you can do in the rest of Asia, right? I think if of the top 5 powers in the world, 2 are not trustworthy, right? And so people will naturally go to the other 3. And
So
that's
an
the
alternative to the G2. You're basically saying a G2 alternative.
alternative. And can that emerge out of this? I think that's the big thing I'd look at.
Right. Interesting. So, but Russia has its own compulsions to continue. With the Chinese, they're very closely linked. They're almost the junior partner, as a lot of people are saying, with in the China-Russia relationship. But I think that's not giving too much credit to President Putin. He's a sharp player, and it's unlikely that he'd want to be second fiddle to anyone.
I don't agree with this concept that Russia is the junior partner for China.
Right.
Look, I mean, I never agreed with it. This is the Western propaganda which came up, right? But the facts on ground are different. Right? Today, China is, Russia has got China on the leash. Let me put it this way. Because energy-wise, China is dependent on Russia. Technology-wise, China is dependent on Russia to a large extent. And then, of course, you see, China has managed to do something which no one else has been able to do. Pry North Korea away from China. Please understand, we don't often forget the global politics and dynamics there. Today, North Korea is more aligned to Putin than China.
That's very important point that you made. That big visit that Putin made
Yeah,
with the Kim Jong to get him to commit troops and ammunition,
troops,
and in return he's given him technology. He's given him
technology. Yeah.
nuclear submarine technology. Very, very interesting point. So actually, you think that he's broken
It's
North
not
Korea?
only no. It's not only that. After all these, the North Korean state communications are now no more dependent on the Chinese satellites. They're dependent on Russian satellites, which is a very big change. So the point is that to think that Russia is the junior partner of China, I think is completely not understanding the dynamics of that whole area and that the relationship between the two. I think uh, uh, Russia has a standing on its own,
Right,
and that is another reason why you see Russia has wants India as a hedge against China.
right, right,
Ideally, Russia would like the RIC, but they know that the INC on this will not come through.
right.
Right? But they would like India for that factor. So I have a different view on this. This is my view on this. Yeah,
So, I was researching an article on this China's wolf warrior diplomacy, and this 2013 essay that came out in one of the Chinese websites. You would remember that the 6 wars that China must
yeah,
fight in the next half century. And it's very interesting that how this comes out at a time when Xi Jinping has just taken over a few months after his taking over. And I'm just going to put in those wars because it gives you a very interesting, thing of how what the Chinese are actually thinking. At least the the far right in the Chinese thing, their revanchist ideas.
yeah. The revanchist idea, it included Russia, it included India, it included Taiwan, it included Japan,
I'm going to post
and
that here. Yeah, it is.
fine. And yeah, the 6 wars, and China still eyes the Trans-Manchuria area, the Trans-Amur area. It wants to reclaim Vladivostok back from Russia, and it's not lost on Russia. I mean,
Yes.
let me put it this: Russia knows fully well what China is up to,
Right.
and not only that, sometime back, a couple of months back, there was a defection from China which went to Russia. A couple got defected, and they gave out the complete Chinese plan of how China wants to break Russia through revival of Russian communism. And they wanted to break Russia into two along the Caucasus, the European Russia and the Asian Russia, with a longer aim or longer term aim of taking over, or Siberia and things like that. I mean, it's a far-fetched plan, but this plan got leaked, went to Russia, and then Russia did whatever it had to and told China in a different manner. And after that, this business of junior partner, senior partner has gone. Yeah, yep,
We have that here.
yeah. These are the 6 wars. I see that.
The 6 wars that they must fight. War to
Yeah.
unify Thailand. That's the obvious one. And this came out
Yeah.
in 2013, right? That is underway now on the timelines as mentioned, 2020, 2025. War to recover various islands of South China Sea. That is also underway in a sense, if you understand the way they are bullying their South China Sea neighbors. Then, of course, the war to recover Southern Tibet. Southern Tibet is Arunachal Pradesh, according to them, according to the Chinese.
Yeah,
The war to recover Diaoyutai and the Ryukyus, that's Senkaku Islands. That's 2040 to 45. So they're taking on Japan in 2040, 45. The war to unify Outer Mongolia, 45 to 50. Outer Mongolia is the present day country of Mongolia. And finally, the war to recover the territory seized by Russia. That is
Trans-Amur. Yeah,
So this is something like 600,000 square kilometers, which is an area the size of present-day Ukraine, including the Donbass. This is
Yeah.
what they plan to recover, and this is what they gave the Russian Empire in 1858. The Manchu dynasty had given them in 1850. So this is the last. So they come to Russia at the very end in 2055, 2060.
Yeah, but I agree with all this thinking. But the fact is that Chinese have not succeeded in anything, and this was part of the propaganda which they put out in 2013.
Right.
I don't think China is capable of going to war anywhere.
Right.
And to a large extent, I don't know whether China itself will survive itself in the current form in these timelines. Because China today is at war with itself. Let's not have any doubt about it.
Economy and
What
demography combination.
economy and demography are lethal. They are the two fundamentals of any nation, right? So I don't give, and it is in fact it is in this context. You said economy and demography are the two basic problems of China. It is in this context the India-Russia meet is very important.
Right.
Right. We have common interests. Right? And so I don't think I would be too bothered about the China-Russia friendship. Whereas there is no threat at all to the India-Russia equation. Look, I mean, one has to understand again, the China-Russia equation has a lot of issues of trust and this six-war business that won't go away. The India-China issue will never go away. It's out of question. India, USA, trust is gone. There's no trust left. Right? Same with Russia and USA. There's no great thing. So what does it leave? The only two countries with some great past status, India and Russia, have this quality of Russia. They're no more a threat to each other or of any kind. In fact, they've never been and they will not be. So Mr. Putin's visit in the first week of December reinforces this, matrix which I put out always. And especially with what China is trying to do with Japan. Right? So I think India's position in the global matrix also has gone up. One has to understand. So, I mean, no, there might be many critics to my way of thinking, but I think this is the way I look at it. So I think this visit is very important for global stability, global geopolitics, for India. In fact, if we have to sustain this growth rate of 8.2% or 8.5%, whatever, we need Russia on our side. Let's not have any doubts about it.
Yeah.
We need Russia to deal with China. You need Russia to deal with Pakistan. You need, like I said, you need Russia to deal with our neighborhood also.
Right. Myanmar.
So Myanmar is important. So I think, and of course, Africa. So for our own growth, our own geopolitical footprint, it's good to have Russia on our side. And it's good to have Russia on our side for technology.
Right.
Now, I want to spend some time on technology. Look, whether we like it or not, we are a nation which has not been able to harness its own technology. We don't lack technology, we can't harness it. That's our fundamental problem. Now, if you need technology, and the only country which is prepared to give you technology today is Russia.
Right.
And let me explain this. No one else gave you technology. Even Russia never gave us technology till now. But today, Russia is prepared to give us technology. Of course, we missed the bus when USSR collapsed. Then technology was there on the plate for us. We made the foolish thing of not accepting it because of our own internal myopic viewpoints.
Right.
But today things have changed. You need technology, and Russia is the only country which is prepared to give us technology.
So, General Shankar, I'm going to quickly ask you on that because I know you're at the IIT Madras. You do a lot of technology when you're not here speaking to addressing viewers. You're doing a lot of high-tech stuff yourself, most of which you can't tell us yet. But, tell us what in 2025 India post-Operation Sindoor, what is the kind of technology that India really needs from the Russian Federation? See, there are a lot of chatter about the S-400s. We'll come to that, the bean count. But tell us the kind of technology that we are looking for today where Russia will actually fill in the gaps.
See, you need Russian technology to expand your maritime power.
Right.
Your submarines and, things like that. Definitely you need. There's no doubt about that. The second technology which you definitely need is to expand your air power, aircraft building. On that, we should not have doubt. The third place where you need a lot of help, Russian technology, is in nuclear power.
Right.
Okay. The fourth place where you need collaboration with Russia, I wouldn't say technology, but you need collaboration with Russia, is in space. Space technologies, you need a lot of collaboration. Okay. In terms of technology. In certain core technologies, in metallurgy and things like that, which are still important, no matter what you say of other core technologies, you need collaboration. You need collaboration. I'm not saying you need technology, you need collaboration to take your own knowledge to a different level. Right? So I think if you look at it from these 4-5 points of view, okay, I don't know if I've missed out any, but I think from these 4-5 points of view, you need Russia. And today, Russia is prepared to part with these technologies. That's the important point, which we need to cash in on. And to that extent, I do hope something special comes out of this visit.
Right. How interesting. When you said that, I was just visually imagining it. The space technology, at aircraft technology, that's fighter jets and maybe even commercial airliners. We are
commercial airlines, engines, yeah.
Then on the land and at sea, on the surface, that is that kind of technology. Then subsea, that is submarine technology, which we're already in very advanced level of cooperation with them. In fact, I must add that they have offered us 2 more Akula class nuclear powered attack submarines, in addition to the Chakra 3, which is being refitted currently. But I think this is a decision that India will have to make, considering the fact that we want to build our own SSNs. So we've already sanctioned a program for that. So this additional thing would mean a cost of outgo of something like minimum 6 billion, if not more. That's for 2 more units, which will come in a timeline of roughly the time it will take you to, build your first submarine probably. And very interestingly, there is the Matsyayan cooperation as well for the deep sea exploration mission, the seabed exploration. So it is literally from the heights of the space right down to the bottom of the ocean. It's that technology doesn't. We're not doing this kind of partnerships with any other country, I think.
No. No one else will give you this. No one will. We got a lot of fillip from their space programs earlier, right? After all, most of our space programs, for example, go back to Rakesh Sharma. When he went abroad, to the space as on a Soviet shuttle. So I think a lot of things we have to put together when you talk of India and Russia. It's one thing to say tech, IT, EAO, all that, but I think the hardcore technologies we still need Russia on our side. And we don't, let's be, one of our biggest deficiencies is the incapability of developing all these technologies for our own selves. It's not that we don't have. We don't know how to put it together and do all that. So to that extent, I think if you go, get technology from Russia in a semi-finished form, and if with Russia you're able to, take it to the next level, I think we will be in a very good situation. Okay. So as Sandeep will join us, there are certain other things which, I mean, I think one major issue, a major issue in which India-Russia collaboration and cooperation will be of great value is energy. You see, it's one thing to say we are dependent on Russian oil and it comes cheap to us and things like that. But that story also is likely to change as we go along. Because if the Ukraine war finishes, Russia will find alternate markets, their prices will rebound, they will look at costlier things. That's okay, that's part of the thing. But what about tomorrow's technologies for energy, right? Whether you talk of even, say, I keep talking of thorium technology. That's why I said nuclear technology. So to harness thorium with us, uh, it's good to have Russia on your side, the nuclear part of it, because a lot of our nuclear capability is basically built on Russian technology if you go back into history. What about rare earths? We have adequate rare earths with us in our country. And these rare earths, the raw material is there. Now, to convert it into actual rare earths, where you can use it at scale, again, you need technology. That technology today, yeah, you can get it from Japan, fine. Uh, you might be able to get it from USA, fine. But also you need a hedge if you when you go into with Russia. So the connect between Russia and Russia and India is pretty deep. Yeah. So as Sandeep, thanks for getting back. I was explaining to everyone that we need Russia for rare earths. You need Russia for energy, and
Right.
especially nuclear energy. Converting our thorium reserves into practical nuclear energy to finish our thorium cycle, which is very important. And also the fact that a lot of our nuclear supply, plutonium or uranium, not plutonium, really uranium, still comes from Russia. Um, Also, remember, even USA takes uranium hexafluoride from Russia.
From Russia.
So do we. Yeah. So the India-Russia partnership, the bandwidth is very huge, and you can't ignore it. So
Right.
that's something which we need to understand. So am I looking at one big ticket announcement when Mr. Putin comes? I'm not.
Right.
The very I'm not. I'm looking at solidifying where we are, and I'm happy to remain at a plateau, which we are. Right? The chances of this going down are next to zero.
Right.
Right? Less than zero. So I'm happy with what's going to happen. It's an important milestone geopolitically that to signal to everyone, look, we have options between the two of us.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Right?
No,
Yeah.
I think that's a very good point, a fair point that you made, General Shankar, about the plateauing. Firstly, apologies for that technical glitch.
No, that's okay. These things happen. Yeah, no problems.
But you said that it is after 1991. This is our big moment. That at a time when we had a lot of options to absorb Russian technology, we didn't for various reasons. Because I think we did not understand the kind of technology that was on offer, and we might have taken it for very critical areas like the strategic program, the nuclear submarine program. We did not do it for other areas where we thought we were a little complacent, let's put it that way, especially with fighter jet development and all that. But I wanted to ask you about this. We are in a bit of a crunch right now with the fifth generation fighter jet program. That seems to be the only area where we are a little, I wouldn't say, back, a little slow because the Chinese have taken a lead. They have fifth generation fighters. They're working on a sixth. And it's very possible that they could sell Pakistan fifth generation fighter jets as well. Where do you see us and the Russians in on this? There's a lot of talk about the Su-57 transfer of technology, setting up shop here in India, license production, full TOT. That's what they promised us, full TOT, including the engine and all of that. You think it's an offer that we must grab, or we should continue with AMCA or integrate
Look,
our 57?
okay, that's a fair question, but I will look at it from a different perspective, right? First and foremost, what's the relevance of all these manned aircraft in tomorrow's war?
Right.
Stealth, no stealth, sixth, seventh, 10th generation. Is there relevance there or not?
Hmm.
Okay, right. I think Op Sindoor, Ukraine war, and even the Iran-Israel war has brought all these things into the
Right.
focus, right? What emerges is if you have adequate missile power, even if you don't have full air power, or the latest aircraft, you can do with the situation, provided you have adequate air defense.
Right.
So I would give more credence to the fact that India. I mean, I'm talking of specifics. I would I would prefer to have a greater collaboration on the S-400, 500, and that, and develop our air defense capabilities. Because if you can develop your air defense capabilities and say have the capabilities to hit off the stealth aircraft,
Right.
you don't need the stealth aircraft,
Right.
right? And you have the missile capability to offset that.
Right.
That's what Sindoor proved to us. That's what the Iran-Israel war proved to us. That's what the the Russia-Ukraine war is proving to the world even now. So I'm not too worried. But at the same time, you can't rule out the requirement of the next generation of aircraft.
Right.
So do you need a Su-57? Very a huge question mark, because remember, we were in the Su-57 deal to
Yes.
start with, and we pulled out. We pulled out because the terms and conditions were completely unsuitable to India. Can you rework that and go back? And I don't know whether it's even feasible. That's the way I look at it. Right? Can you get help for AMCA from them? I think that's a better route. Can you deal with the Russians? Say, look, I need this for my AMCA. Right? We are looking at engines from France and USA and all that. Why don't you get the engines from Russia? If you want to get the Su-57 from Russia, or get the engines from Russia and develop your own.
Right.
Can you? So, even in civil aviation, why should you depend only on Airbus and Boeing? After all, you at one point of time, you flew those Tupolevs and ILs all over, and the huge aircraft. So the aircraft capability, the civil aircraft manufacture capability is there. Design, manufacture, everything is there in Russia. Why don't we get that? And go into a program on improving our aerospace capabilities in a different track altogether. It might take a little more longer time. I'm not bothered. We are okay, right? And so with the and then continue with the existing programs. So I think we need to relook at it. We need to have internal clarity on the fighter aircraft, civil aircraft, whole thing, which for some reason, in all our discourse, we've not looked at Russia from that point of view. So I think this is a time when we can debate this and discuss this as to how can we relook at this whole story.
Right.
And take it forward. After all, you have a very successful joint production, design, everything in BrahMos.
Right.
Okay. And today BrahMos is making economic sense also. When you start selling it to Philippines, you do it tomorrow to Armenia or whoever. So what the investment India and Russia have put into this will start coming back. So similarly, can you do something for a fighter aircraft or a trainer aircraft, or for that matter, a civil aircraft? I would rather collaboration. Yeah, not necessary Su-57.
Right. So not necessarily just the platform, but to collaborate on certain, core capabilities that you
core
said.
capabilities. Yeah.
like the long range air defense missile project that we have as well. And
You want
uh,
no, you want to. You see, we discussed about Sudarshan Chakra and all that.
yes,
Can you?
exactly.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And this S-400, S-500 missiles, because of their sheer range and their capabilities, they are actually offensive systems. They're not so much air
Yes.
defense systems. They are, because if you can shut off your adversary's air force, you can ensure that he doesn't operate anywhere. That's an offensive system, literally. So it's like,
Yeah.
you can carry out free hunts of his, assets, like what we've done. 300 kilometers, we've taken a shot at that distance. But the other areas of cooperation, General Shankar, drones. I was reading this article in Foreign Affairs, this latest issue, which talks about how Russia has recovered from the war in Ukraine. And there's a very interesting line there saying that in just 3 years, Russia has made over 450 interim modifications to combat manuals. Their handbooks are being constantly upgraded, and they're working so closely with industry, with academia. Literally, their IITians are all embedded there in the field with them. And they are today leaders in drone warfare. And the Ukrainians, of course, both of them. Ukrainians have showed frugal innovation. The Russians are doing it at an industrial level. Where are the possible areas of cooperation for drone warfare that we can look at the Russians for?
Look, again, how drones are to be employed, utilized, whether tactically or strategically, I think India is up to it. I had a recent, discussion with a lot of people in Army War College.
Right.
The sense I got was every unit has enough drones. There's no dearth of drones, offensive, and they have their own methods of employing them. And so I'm not too worried about that.
I'm glad to hear that.
Our capability is far more than what we can think of. And the next thing is drone technology is changing every 6 months.
Right.
Right. So to that extent, to go into a equation with them for a particular form of drones and all, I don't think so. So, but what we need is a broad-based interaction.
Right.
Broad-based exchange. And broad-based part of the aerospace thing as to what thing we can exchange for in this field. Right. This is a fast-changing field.
Right.
Right. And we need to build the capacity. What I would like to learn from Russia on this is how have they got onto this fast-changing roulette wheel, right? And how to stay on it. That is the more important thing. It is not a matter of how we get hold of a particular drone and use it and all. I think we need to understand how they've handled the situation, dynamic situation, rather than the physicality of making drones and things. That I'm sure we have adequate. See, what one has to understand: drones are not that complex.
Right. They're actually very simple platforms.
They're simple platforms, and they're not complex. And at the end of the day, a drone is just a platform. The more important part is what you put on it. So that
payload.
Yeah, the payload. That logic as to how things are and how they've operated and what has actually happened in Ukraine, firsthand is what we need to understand. Secondhand, through other journals, descriptions, war accounts, and all that, we know we have adequate thing. And plus, we have adapted well to our terrain. But the second thing is, the counter drone systems. How do you handle counter drone systems? Because you might have the best drones, but if you have a good counter drone system, things change. So that's something which we should do with Russia. And at this point of time, I'd say, look, this is an opportunity where if you don't look at the specifics also, get the broad ideas and then move along in your own direction.
Yes.
So I think this visit has a lot to offer. Militarily, it has a lot to offer from an energy perspective. It has a lot to offer from geopolitical perspective. Like I said, we've hit a plateau.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we can go ahead. Right? You can expand the thing, but the relationship, it's good if you can keep it at that plateau.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And of course, there are other issues like the rupee ruble trade, figuring that out.
All those
I
will
mean,
get sorted out.
that's right.
I am
There,
sure those will.
there are a lot of people who are basically arguing for the fact that we need to diversify beyond just energy and defense and technology. What are those new areas that you would look at with Russia? Pharmaceutical seems to be one, machinery,
Yes.
technology, automobiles. President Putin has praised our automobile sector, repeatedly. He said, how India makes such an array of passenger cars, and they are completely dependent on foreign suppliers for automobiles. So that's possibly one area of, cooperation, collaboration that we could look at.
Yeah, there are a lot of areas. When you look at drugs,
Right,
pharmaceutical industry, we can. Communications, mobiles. India still remains one of the best country which makes maximum mobiles. So a
right.
lot of things you could send across to Russia. Agri products,
Yeah,
right? A lot of things. So I think the scope is huge to expand, and so that it's just not a one way kind of an affair. See what India gives to Russia is scale.
right,
We have this capability of scale, which Russia doesn't have. Russia has niche products and energy, but what we have is scale. And right, so I think there is a lot of scope in this where I'm sure all these issues will come up in the visit. And of course, like we started the Arctic routes are something where we need
yeah,
a foothold on. Per se, I must also say that do you need the Arctic route? India doesn't need the Arctic route. Really speaking, why do you need the Arctic route? You don't need. But it's good to have a presence in when those lanes open up, and Russia gives you a foothold there,
right,
right? So I think, but that's in the future. That's about 15, 20 years ahead. And we also need to have some cooperation in the Antarctic,
right.
where we have our own niche capability in the Antarctic. So I think overall, I'm looking forward to the visit.
Right. Same here, General Shankar. I mean, there is no international visit I have, looked at so closely and waited for so eagerly as the Russian visit, simply because of the sheer scale that you mentioned and the trust. When you're built on a foundation of trust, then the sky is the limit. That plateau,
Yeah,
you can build skyscrapers on that plateau that you mentioned. But if you want, General Shankar, I think you can take some questions now.
yeah, we'll let
There is Ravi who wants to know about an agreement. Attack on Russia will be regarded as an attack on India and vice versa. NATO kind of military relationship with
I
secret
don't
MOU.
think that will ever come across. We'll never get to that. Because if
Right.
that was there, we should have, the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war itself would have provided the base. I
Right.
don't think India and Russia will ever get into that kind of a story.
The NATO kind of an alliance. That is
Yeah,
what
we'll never have it. Yeah.
Sagar is also asking as well.
No, we'll not have that kind of alliance. But look, today the alliance required out of Russia and India are different. That's why I explained the geopolitics in that matrix.
Yes.
We need each other politically. We need each other. Yeah, we need each other from a lot of, India and Russia hedge.
Right.
This relationship provides a hedge for many people, and it provides a hedge for our own problems, each
Right.
other. So that's
IR,
why
the
yeah.
IR Kiran Ramakrishnan Su-57 deal will be signed with Dot S-400. Very possible. But Jen Shankar was saying this S-400 is more likely. And there, I think the original deal was for what, 10 or 12 systems, General Shankar, back a decade ago, which was
Yeah.
Mr. Parikar asked for it to be reduced because the
Reduced and all that.
5
But
billion.
now I think you need more, and we'll get there.
Right. Vishwanathan Bangalore says that China has occupied large areas of its border with Siberia and inhabited with its civilians and military, and Putin is silent. I don't think it is occupied large areas of Siberia. There is a large Chinese presence there simply because of population, and the Russian side of the Amur is very thinly populated. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Pugalski, Ukraine war was significant step in reining in those bankers. Okay, that's a statement, comment. Gratitude to Maharati. That's General Shankar. I respect.
Oh, no, both of us.
Thank you very much. There is. This looks like something British intelligence would put out.
I don't think so.
Iyengar, Mr. Vasu Iyengar has made a suggestion for a better mic. Thank you, Vasu. Thank you very much. I saw your comment when you made it. I will implement it the next Saturday when we are discussing the visit, the outcomes. Possibly that's one big thing. Next week you will. I promise to have that microphone to reduce the reverberation. North Korea is the Sparta of the East. It rejects everything Western, not some big player. Theological center. Well, yes. If you say so. They were clueless. Netanyahu was supposed to come after Putin, but he postponed. Internally, our intuitive security apparatus is working overtime. Are they all related? Yeah, it is. This I know because I've been asking around about this. It's a fact that Prime Minister Netanyahu is to visit. That visit is being worked out between the Israeli government and the MEA, and I think we should see a timeline for that very soon. December, we were told either December or maybe even Jan. So that visit is going to happen. That's the next big international visit of a head of government. The US-China G2 is a challenge to India. How does Russia perceive the possible US-China geopolitical rapprochement? Good question.
I'm sure they do it the same way as we are doing. And that's one of the things I spoke of. We are a hedge.
Yes.
India, Russia, Japan. Hedge G2.
Hedge
okay.
To the
and
right.
Yeah.
Solid HG. We need micro reactors for military as well as industries for energy. Of course we do. No doubt about that. And that's a point that Vivek Berry also seems to make about nuclear reactors for power and a nuclear power station in Andaman and Nicobar. Absolutely. Cannot emphasize this more. Point about Russia is not a big economy, but it has less population, self-reliant in defense.
Yeah, we spoke of this.
Yeah, we did. Yes, these are. It's not a big economy. They have an issue with their population. That is a big thing. And Ashish Hegde says we may need Su-57 as a hedge against the AMCA. Yes, we mentioned that. Possible collaboration on the AMCA itself. Yellow Flash is asking the same question. Are we going to be ordering the latest Su-57? Collaboration, something to get the AMCA, because the AMCA for us is far more critical than the Su-57. So the jury is that we might buy 1 or 2 squadrons of the Su-57 because they're very similar to the Su-30 in a lot of respects, but we will push the AMCA. 2 Pakistani subs with missile launches with China type sub are deployed. So we're 10 years behind Pakistani. Well, Pakistan not a very serious threat naval wise. I mean, the Pakistan Navy, I must say here, can be taken out by the Indian Air Force and the Indian Army before it even sails out to do battle with the Indian Navy. So that is there. The BrahMos NG pre-ordered is a big hit weapon. Yes. No point mass producing drones. Well, Russia has done well for itself in mass producing drones of the Shahid variety. They have this massive plant in Tatarstan, which is producing them like sausages. That is a technology that I could possibly look at the Russians for, this mass production scale. Post the intelligence leakage exposing Chinese plans on Siberia, China is scared post Lavrov's threats. Can we still consider Russia as China's sub? No, we
No,
absolutely. Russia will not be anyone's subordinate. That's very clear. Isn't Russia importing drones from China and Iran? They got the tech from Iran, the mass production technology from Iran, and today they're outproducing the Iranians in drones, and they're even deploying them in numbers that no country has ever done, in the hundreds. I have respect for India. I know why you love Russia so much, because they were there at a time when India was isolated. So the communists help you with weapons, and you are the largest democracy on earth. Well, there is a dichotomy in what you said, but we are a democracy, and we will get our security from the country that we choose to. That's what we've done in the past. How long will for 1 million drone capacity production in India? Good question.
We have this capacity. Like I told you, it's not a matter of capacity. Capacity is coming. It's a matter of time. And you don't know when this capacity will just jump itself. So I'm very optimistic, yeah.
We can focus on engines, motors for different scales of drones as opposed to mass producing drones. Of course. Creating a lot of components, buying it on scale. Praying for the Tejas Ghatak combo as well in 2027. Yes.
Yeah.
Please increase the likes and share maximum, and do subscribe to join. Yes, please. All of you, please like, share, subscribe, not just to Gunner's Shot, which is the best channel out there for defense matters.
Oh, no.
Because General Shankar,
there are others.
But Chakra as well. So do follow us, like, share, subscribe. Russian rough diamond trade is directly providing thousands of jobs in India. Yes, actually. And that is another area of potential collaboration. This one, Russia has vast quantity of rupees from the Soviet days. Why not provide structure facility to invest that capital? Yeah, that's been. I think we will see.
That's part of the goal. We'll see that.
We will see it next week. The opinion about India-Afghanistan relation in current situation. Yeah, it's good.
It's good, very good, in fact. Very good, and Russia and Pakistan is worried about it. Yeah,
right, exactly. We should have an assembly line of auto parts and auto cars, scooter, and Andaman, so it's also motorized and mobile. Well, yeah. You just Su-57. You just heard General Shankar talk about it. We did discuss that. If Bangkok can have a population of 15 million, so should Andaman also. Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. And General Shankar, if you consider this at some point, we should talk about the Andamans.
We'll talk of it.
It's part of our country. And
we'll talk of it. We're not
keeping it that way. Russia has already been investing their INR into India for many years, since the RBI started providing escrow account services for international. It is investing it, but not in the kind. They're sitting on tons of
scope
in their this thing. Russia has less girls. Okay, there is a population imbalance there. Yes, that's a fact. Do we need S-500 as China has been? Yes, we need the S-500 as well, it looks like, though we have to balance it with our own program, which is the indigenous Kusha. India will go for Su-57 or Su-75. Su-75 is a single engine. Yeah, let's see.
We'll see how it goes. There's no point second guessing it at this stage.
Yes. There's a lot to expect from this, and I think our diplomats are working hard to balance expectations. This point, of course, it's an observation. We discussed that. India needs to work with Russia on. Without that, it's just copper wire wound around a magnet, right? And I think we're at the end of it. Shankar sir, today morning China's podcast was fantastic. General Shankar, you had another podcast on China.
No, I didn't have a podcast on China. This was one which I did earlier. Whether China will go for war. Will China can wage a war?
Right.
I did this about 2 weeks back, and I put it out again because I have a habit of putting this out. Even this podcast we are doing, I'll put it out after 2 weeks because then people can view it reflectively.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, and it has a lot of value. So,
Yes.
and then of course, those people who probably initially missed it can have a look at it.
Right.
And in that, I've argued, the problems of why China can't go to war.
Hmm.
And it's very important in this context today that China doesn't have the capability to go to war. Much as what it's talking about Japan, Taiwan, and all that.
Right.
If China goes to war, there's a good chance of China collapsing.
Oh, okay.
It'll just collapse. So it's too much of a risk for Xi Jinping and company to go to war.
Right.
But at the same time, it might be too much of a risk for Xi Jinping and company not to go to war the way things are panning out. So we'll have to see, watch China very closely, because China, to me, to my way of thinking, is the most unstable country in the world today.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And you've mentioned that time and again, Jan Shankar,
Yeah,
this point that China's internal contradictions and its purges something we should look out for.
yeah.
As of now, Jan Shankar, can we commit to our viewers that next Saturday we're going to be talking about
Yeah, why not?
India and
Let's do it.
aftermath of the visit? Because by then we'll have
Yeah.
the statements will be out, joint statements will be out. We can analyze it and look at the road that we've traveled since. And
Yeah, we'll do. We could do that on 5th if you want. Because 6th I'm off to Pokhran for the final firing of the ramjet. So
okay, right.
we'll do it on 5th.
Yes.
5th.
You have breaking
We'll do
news
it
for us.
on.
You just revealed the fact that you have a ramjet artillery round being tried in Pokhran. Congratulations, General Shankar. This
Thank
is
you.
an announcement that I've waited to hear from you. The ramjet artillery round is finally reached Pokhran. And who
This
knows?
is a great achievement.
It's a great achievement. Congratulations from all of us. For you who are watching there, this is the project that General Shankar has been quietly working on with the IIT Madras for the last decade or so, because he believes that artillery rounds have reached the end of their physical limits, and now the only way to convert artillery rounds into missiles is by getting ramjet rounds. And ramjet rounds, I must tell you, they all look like, I've seen a couple of them, they look like mini BrahMos missiles, right? And that's what General Shankar plans to do, launch BrahMos missiles from artillery guns like the Bofors and of course the Dhanush and others. Congratulations once again, General Shankar. Can't wait to do a special podcast for our viewers.
We'll do
Since
it.
you're here, we must have a special discussion.
No, we'll do it. This whole thing will finish, because what's happening is we're going to fire on 8th and 9th. Come back, I have to go to the artillery conference and the reunion. The day I come back from the reunion, we'll have a podcast with you.
Done. So we've locked in that thing. The two discussions that we're having on the 5th, we're going to talk about the India-Russia relationship, and the joint statements would have been out by then. And the 8th is when we'll talk about ramjet artillery with General Shankar. Thank you very much, General Shankar, for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
And for all of you out there, please like, share, subscribe. Nana's Short, and of course, Chakra News. Keep the love and support coming. And we'll see you again, same time next week. Jai Hind, and have a great week.
Same. Jai Hind and have a great weekend. Yeah.